Broadcasting live from the Meridics via OBS Studio Broadcast Center at Centennial Sportsplex. This is GNASH Hockey on the Middle Tennessee Sports Network. And after an incredible last 4 days for ice hockey in this country, with both the U.S. women and men winning Olympic gold in Northern Italy, it is time to move on to the penultimate week of the 2026 GNASH postseason. 9 teams still alive, but only 4 will be left at the end of this week. Both tournament finals will be set. And tonight, we determine who gets the first spot in both finals for the Predators Cup and the Henry Hine Cup. We're on Rink A. Supposed to be on Rink B, but both games got moved over to Rink A. First up, the Preds Cup Winners Bracket Final, Nolensville against Franklin. Nolensville trying to reach it for a third straight season. First year as a Scholastic team. Franklin trying to get there for the first time ever. And then it's the losers bracket semifinal where another top 4 seed will fall. Page Summit the 3 taking on MBA the 2. It's going to be a big night of GNASH hockey. First of all, let me apologize for the quality of my voice. I've had a cold the last few days. It got really bad overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday, I woke up with almost no voice, just about. It's gotten a little better over the last few days. The fact that I'm standing next to a cold rink ain't going to help. The fact that it's below freezing outside doesn't help either. But I've been taking a lot of Dayquil and a lot of NyQuil, so hopefully things will be better by the end of the week. But yeah, not doing so hot, but hot enough where I can come out here tonight. Anyway, let's go over the final scores from last week. We only had 4 games last week, thanks to the President's Day holiday. Let's go over the scores. Score from last Tuesday, the second Hine Cup Forwarders Bracket semifinal. Independent Centennial beat the Tennessee Outlaws 4-2. Then last Wednesday, both Predators Cup Losers Bracket quarterfinals were simply outstanding. Page Summit beating Hendersonville Beach Lawson 4-3. Madden Chandler scoring the game-winning goal with 32 seconds left in regulation. Montgomery Bell beating Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian 5-4 in overtime. Connor Mazzoni with a hat trick, including the game-tying goal in regulation and the game-winning goal in overtime. And in the first Hine Cup Losers Bracket quarterfinal, it was Mount Juliet Wilson Central Lebanon beating the Outlaws 5-4. So the Outlaws went from being 2 steps away to getting into the Preds Cup final to having their season ended in just over 24 hours. The Hine Cup scheduling has not been very friendly. Not been very friendly at all, but it wasn't very friendly last year, to be honest. Okay. So here's the schedule for tonight. We've got 4 games, last day of the entire season, where we have more than 2 games. 2 6:30 games. Here on Rink A at Centennial, the Preds Cup Winners Bracket Final between Nolensville and Franklin. Down in the Terry Crisp Rink in Bellevue, it's the Hine Cup Winners Bracket Final. 2-seed Independent Centennial taking on 1-seed Father Ryan, who haven't played in 12 days. And then at 8:15 here on Rink A at Centennial, the Preds Cup Losers Bracket Semifinal between 3-seed Page Summit and 2-seed MBA. And down in Bellevue in the Crisp Rink, the second Hine Cup Losers Bracket quarterfinal, 6-seed Brentwood BAUSN taking on 4-seed JP2 MLK GCS. JP2, of course, lost that game to Father Ryan 12 days ago, so they haven't played since then. And Brentwood have not played in 13 days. Their last game was that first Losers Bracket first round game against Clarksville that they won 6-3 back on February 11th. No, correction, Brentwood haven't played in 12 days. Father Ryan and JP2 are the 2 teams that haven't played in 11. They haven't played 11 days. So, sorry about my math on that. Both teams out of the ice once the warm-up clock gets going. We'll talk about Nolensville and Franklin. We got one official out here. We do not have the, well, I see one linesman, one ref on the ice. Another ref sitting in the away team penalty box. Oh, wow, the concession stand is open. Oh, my God. Shock of the week right there. Okay, the warm-up clock is running. So let's talk about the two teams playing the first game of our doubleheader this evening. First up, Nolensville, coached by Ty Johns, his first year as a GNASH head coach, period. Opened the Preds Cup with a 2-1 win over NBA in the first round on February 4th. Then a week later, on February 11th, beats Page Summit 4-1 in their Preds Cup Preds Cup winners bracket semifinal. So let's go over their stats coming into tonight. Spencer Kern, the leading scorer, he's got 4 points from 3 goals and an assist. Jackson Malleus-Mayer with 2 points from goals. Bingston Soundara was awarded that goal that Page put in their own net. So he has a goal. He has 1 point from a goal. And then you've got Charlie Bonnert, Logan Campbell, Thomas Renegar, and Emmett Zakos, each with a point from an assist. Let's move on to goalie play. Bingston Soundara has played in both games, started both games, so his record 2-0-0. He's played the full 84 minutes. Goals against average of 1 even. No shutouts. He's allowed 2 goals and 59 shots. Turned away the other 57. His save percentage of the postseason so far is .966. Let's move on to Franklin. Interim head coach Jackson Reed taking over from Todd Gross, who was dismissed last month after he was given an indefinite suspension for violating the league's code of conduct. Opened the postseason with a 5-4 win over Hendersonville Beach Lawson in the very first game of the Preds Cup on February 3rd. And then in the winners bracket semis on February 11th, just clobbered Station Camp Liberty Creek Nashville Christian 6-0. So here are their stats coming into tonight. Ryan Mannion, the leading scorer, with 5 points, all from goals. Michael Mannion, Makita Popov, and David Unger each with 2 points from a goal and an assist. Wyatt Garrisher with 2 points from assists. Alex Broy with a point from a goal. And Will Clark, Braden Coleman, Will McCormick, Lucas Ortega each have a point from an assist. Houston Vale and Chase Wagers also with a point from a goal. Cole Wright also with a point from an assist. No Michael Mannion in the lineup tonight. He is suspended for tonight. He got 2 10-minute misconducts at once in the Station Camp game a couple weeks ago. But the big news for Franklin is Aiden Murphy is back in the lineup tonight. His 5-game suspension that he got for his actions at the end of the Ravenwood game on January 5th has finally been served, finally complete. So he is back in the lineup tonight. That's big for Franklin. Let's move on to goalie stats. Grayson Butters played in that first game against Hendersonville, so his record 1-0-0. Played the full 42 minutes, allowed 4 goals and 24 shots, turned away the other 20. His save percentage of the postseason so far is .833. His goals against average is 4 even. Teague Spencer played in the game against Station Camp. He played the full 42 minutes and turned away all 13 shots that he faced, so his save percentage is 1,000, and his goals against average is 0.00. These two teams met back on October 20th. Nolensville won 4-2. So their first meeting in over 4 months. And it is a very big meeting, because whoever wins this game gets the first spot in the Preds Cup final and will be the home team because they come out of the winners bracket. The loser of this game will play in the losers bracket final on Wednesday at 8:45 here on Rink A against the Page NBA winner. Ready to go for the start of this one. Mingston Soundara going to start in goal for Nolensville. Teague Spencer going to start in goal for Franklin. As Quinn Spencer is tying one of his skate boots. And he's done with that. Now he'll join the starters. First spot in the Preds Cup final on the line. Who gets it? Time to start answering that question. Game is underway with Nolensville winning the draw, dumping into the Franklin zone. Quinn Spencer with it on the far side. Sends it up the far side. Wyatt Garisher will dump it into the Nolensville zone. Puck coming around to the near side boards. Trying to put the puck in front right away and knocked away by Soundara with Garisher standing right in front of him. Puck coming up the boards, held in at the left point. Nope, Quinn Spencer could not hold it in. It was jumping up in the air and he decided to back out of the zone. Passes ahead to Cole Wright, who flips it past the net to the left of Soundara from the red line at center. Puck sent out of the Nolensville zone. Spencer Kern on the right wing side of the Franklin end. Pushed away from the puck by Quinn Spencer, trying to pin it up against the kick plate. Just above the right wing corner. Heath Hudie jumping in there, digging in it, trying to dig it out. And Hudie loosens it, backhands it up to the right point. Henry Cravens takes a shot, gloved and held on to by Spencer. That's the first whistle after 66 seconds of play. Draw's going to be to Teague Spencer's left. It's won by Franklin. Baker McCormick on the near side. Clears it out to center. Sent right back in, but taken right back out by Makita Popov, but he can't hang on to it at center. Charlie Bonnert chasing it down the right wing side of the Nolensville zone, trying to put it in front. Baker McCormick put the body on him in the right wing corner. Hank Prosser battling in there as well. Puck goes behind the net, picked up, and banked off the near side boards out to center by Will McCormick. Nolensville trying to send it back in, sliding along the blue line, parallel to the blue line. Dumped back into the Franklin zone by Hank Prosser, who goes to the bench for a change. Baker McCormick passing it up the near side, Makita Popov. Had it poked away by Charlie Bonnert. Judah Campbell met right at the Franklin blue line. Puck still sent down the right wing side. Here's Aiden Murphy in his first game in almost 2 months, clearing it out of the zone on the near side. Slides back into the Nolensville zone, picked up by Emmett Zako. Sent around to the far side, deflected out to center by Judah Campbell. Dumped right back in by David Unger. Actually, no, it did not go in. It had to be Makita Popov tossing it in from just behind the right point. Puck behind the Nolensville net. Somebody from Franklin tried to put it out in front to no avail. Puck cleared out. Hank Hayes could not keep it in the zone. He dumps it back in with the rest of his teammates having to get back on side. Here's Grant Phelps out at center. Smallest guy in the league, dumping it into the Franklin zone and then going to the bench for a change. Puck tossed up the far side. Will McCormick clears it out to center off the stick of Spencer Kern. Henry Cravens. Houston Vale pushing it back into the Nolensville zone. Gets off a shot. I don't know if that was stopped by Soundara or not. Puck comes out in front. Not sure who that is who tried to get his stick on it but couldn't. I think it was Popov. No, it was Ryan Sherman. Puck sent back into the Franklin end, cleared out, cross ice, clear out on the far side from the near side by Will McCormick. Jackson Malleus-Bear brings it back into the Franklin zone on the right wing side. Loses it. Trying to clear it out was David Unger. Held into the blue line and a shot stopped by Spencer. Didn't have control and they score. Initial shot came from the blue line. I think Carson Roganchik. Spencer made the save, but he couldn't. Puck was jarred loose by Spencer Kern. And this Mayer who came in and knocked it into the bottom corner of the right-hand side of the net. And it is 1-0 Nolensville. Just 3 minutes and 25 seconds in, 10:35 to go in the first. So Nolensville crashing the net, works to their advantage. Here's Spencer Kern, right wing side of the Franklin zone, the puck taken away. Now to the far side boards, right at the right half wall. Whipped around to the near side by Cole Wright. Number 1, is Isaac Wink a skater tonight? Who is that wearing number 1 for Nolensville? Here's Ryan Mannion, left wing side of the Nolensville zone, sending it through the top of the crease from the left wing boards. Quinn Spencer with a shot in the left point. Stopped by Soundara. Rebound stopped by Soundara at his right-hand side of the net. Puck put out in front. Coming up the ice, held into the blue line by Chase Wagers, and backhanded back down to the end boards. Sent around to the near side. Cleared out by Nolensville. So be an icing. 9:34 to go in the first, and it's already 1-0 Knights. It's 1-0 Father Ryan over Indy down in Bellevue. Ridgeway Lambert scoring just 44 seconds into that one. Zandara's left. Nolensville having to switch the taker. It's won by Franklin. Wyatt Garrisher backhands it to the inboards. Puck coming around to the far side. Hank Presser and it taken away. Carried to the slot, handed off Garrisher, knocked off his stick in the right circle. That was Murphy who took it off of Prosser. Puck came back into the Franklin zone. Murphy clears it out. Garrisher passing to the far side. It's back in the Nolensville zone. Quickly cleared out by the Knights. Taken back by the Knights and dumped back into the Franklin zone. No icing. Baker McCormick. Well, high stick. Okay, it was played with a high stick by Franklin and touched up by McCormick, Baker McCormick, to bring about the whistle. 8:55 to go in the first. 1-0 Nolensville. They awarded that goal to Spencer Kern. I thought Jackson Malleus-Mayer came in and knocked it in. I guess Kern got to the front of the top of the crease and backhanded it in. I thought Jackson Malleus-Mayer, who was in the ice, coming to the front of the net, got to it and knocked it in. Draw to the left of Teague Spencer. Franklin will clear it out down the near side, back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing. And Henry Cravens tripped as he was going to the inboards of his own zone to draw the first penalty of the game. The penalty will be against Will McCormick. So Nolensville getting the first power play of the game, already up 1-0 with 8:39 to go in the first. Draw is going to be to the left of Teague Spencer. They dropped the puck, but the linesman in front of the Franklin bench, I don't think he liked the way the Franklin taker was lined up, so they'll drop it again. Won by Nolensville. Franklin trying to get it out of the zone, and they do. Heath Hudie had Baker McCormick all over him, and the puck drifted out of the zone. Sent back in, but passed ahead by Quinn Spencer to Ryan Mannion at the Nolensville blue line, but he couldn't keep it in his stick to enter the zone. Now it's back in the Franklin end, or just about. It's at the blue line. Poked in by Charlie Bonner. Quinn Spencer with it, fires it around the boards of the far side and out. But right to center and Henry Cravens. Cravens back into the Franklin zone on the right wing side. Taking a shot. Gloved and held on to by Teague Spencer. 82 seconds left in the power play. 8:01 to go in the first. 1-0 Nolensville. Draw be to Spencer's left. Won by Nolensville. Puck in the right wing corner. Spencer trying to clear it out. His second attempt, he gets it down ice from the right wing corner. Soundara out of his net to play it. Passes over to Malleus-Mayer on the far side. Malleus-Mayer backhanding it to the middle of the ice and Cravens. Cravens at center. Back into the Franklin zone. Leaves it at the right point. Malleus-Mayer passing to the middle of the ice. Crescent Rockets, correction, is Bonner to shot in the right edge of the slot. Stopped and covered up by Spencer. With now under a minute left in the power play for Nolensville. 53 seconds to go, in fact. Drawby to Teague, Spencer's left. Won by Franklin. Puck on the far side, cleared out by Hank Hayes. Soundara out of his net to play it. Passes to the far side, Cravens. Cravens passing to the middle of the ice, and Spencer Kern is now on the near side. Backs up a bit. Passes ahead to Cravens out at center. 30 seconds left of the power play. Cravens back in the Franklin zone, trying to chip it to the slot. That was knocked down by by a Franklin hand. Now Cravens trying to carry it to the far side, taken away and cleared out by Garisher. Garisher stayed on him, stripped the puck and cleared it. Puck behind the Nolensville net. Oh, and Soundara almost gave it away to Hank Hayes, who crashed behind the net. Now Garisher on the far side, backhanding it out to center. Makita Popov picks it up. And Franklin, David Unger's going to fire it down ice to kill off the rest of the penalty. Penalty time against Franklin is up. They're back at even strength. Cravens, far side of his own zone. Gets the puck out, but David Unger sends it right back in, but it was touched by Will McCormick as he was trying to exit the zone, so offside. 6:28 to go in the first, 1-0, Nolensville. Draw one by Nolensville and dumped into the Franklin zone for an icing. So they'll drop it in the Nolensville zone to the right of Soundara. Franklin with it. Shot from McCormick. Stopped by Soundara. Shot coming from the left circle. Nolensville sending it down ice. Back into the Franklin zone. No icing, though. Baker McCormick almost turned it over behind his own net to Luke Doble. Puck on the far side. Pass across to the near side out to center. Emmett Zakos backhands it back into the Franklin zone, but that's quickly taken and brought out by Baker McCormick. Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Sent around the boards to the far side. Judah Campbell tried to deflect it through his legs, between his legs backwards, but it was intercepted by Franklin. Puck taken to the slot by Nolensville and cleared. Aiden Murphy catching up to it inside his own zone. Passing it up the far side, Will McCormick deflects it out to center. Thomas Renegar with it for Nolensville. Backhanding it across to the near side. Spencer Kern drops back into his own zone. Passes to the far side. Sent back to the near side. Kern back into the Franklin zone. He's in the high slot. A shot stopped and held on to by Spencer. Shot it right into Teague Spencer's chest, and he hangs on for the whistle. 5:11 to go in the first. 1-0 Nolensville. It is now 1-1 between Indy and Father Ryan down in Bellevue. Nick Kloss getting the Eagles on the board there. Draw will be to the left of Spencer. Won by Nolensville. A shot from the blue line takes a deflection. And it comes down to the bottom of the right circle where Franklin take it and clear. Somebody from Franklin to their stick break. It was Ryan Mannion had the blade break off his stick. So he is back on the bench getting a new stick. Puck out at center on the far side. Sent towards the Franklin blue line, but into the skates of Quinn Spencer, who sends it back into the Nolensville zone. Malleus Mayer on the near side, passing to the middle of the ice, and Cravens passes to the far side, trying to get it back to Cravens. It ends up in the Franklin zone anyway, but then quickly out. And now here is Ryan Mannion, right wing side of the, Chase Wiggers, I think, right wing side of the Nolensville zone, going in on goal, getting off a shot that's stopped by Soundara. Puck passed out to the left point. Quinn Spencer, a shot. Stopped and held onto by Soundara into his stomach. He's got it between his knees. 4:15 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Nolensville. Yeah, Ryan Mannion was still on the bench, and now he comes on as Franklin will replace the scoring line, the top three for this draw, which will be to Soundara's right. One by Franklin, but quickly taken by Nolensville, brought out to center. Here is Heath Udy, swing side of the Franklin zone. Got Chase Wagers all over him, pushes the puck off of him, comes to Hank Prosser at the center point, but he can't keep it in his stick, and it eventually rolls out to center. Charlie Bonnet brings it back in, but he stepped over the blue line before he pulled the puck in, so offside. Draw will be on the dot in front of the bleachers, across from the Franklin bench at center. One by Franklin, Baker McCormick. Sorry, it's Ryan Mannion going into the Nolensville zone, and the puck stripped and cleared. Two Nolensville players fell over right in front of their own net. Luckily, the puck wasn't in there. It was Heath Udy and Emmett Zakos. They must have collided right in front of their own net and went down. But again, luckily for them, the puck wasn't in the zone. It is in the zone now. Hank Hayes at the left point, keeping it away from Hank Prosser. Carries it down the left wing boards. Around the back of the net. Comes out to the near side. Drops it back to the end boards. Ryan Mannion sending it around to the far side. Chase Ottolini avoids a hit. Dumps it back down to the left wing corner. Now Hayes tried to pass it out in front from below the goal line. Had his pass deflected by a Nolensville stick. The stick of Emmett Zakos, who carries it to the Franklin blue line, shoots it on goal and forces a save from Teague Spencer. David Unger making the little man. Grant Phelps misses. He brings the puck back into the Nolensville zone and shoots it just past the net to the left of Soundara from the high slot. He faked the poor kid out. Puck on the far side, Phelps trying to clear it out. Hits Lucas Ortega and stays in the zone. But then eventually he goes up to the left point and forces it off Ryan Mannion and out. Now Mannion pokes it back in. Cleared out by Nolensville. Hank Hayes will bring it back in on the left wing side. Hayes trying to get to the front of the net. Puck got away from him. Catches back up to it in the right wing corner. Spencer Kern takes it off him. Then Kern falls over, unable to carry the puck on. I think Lucas Ortega was the one holding it in on the near side, and now we're going to get a call against Franklin, I think. No, it's going to be against Nolensville. A roughing call against who? Judah Campbell. So Franklin getting their first power play of the game, down 1-0 with 1:59 to go in the first. Draw to the left of Soundara, won by the Admirals. Quinn Spencer, shot in the left point, hit the skates, I think, of Wyatt Garrison, went past the net to the right of Soundara. Puck on the near side. Nolensville will clear. Came to the front of the Franklin net, cleared away by Teague Spencer. Quinn Spencer with it now. He'll skate it to center on the near side. Spencer into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Takes a shot, blocked by the back-checking number 1. Again, I don't think that's why Isaac Wank playing skater tonight, as Nolensville clear it down ice again. Teague Spencer looking for an icing call, but Nolensville are shorthanded. Spencer Kern catches up to the puck in the Franklin zone. Now he's on the far side, but has it taken away by Cole Wright. Wright through center on the near side, back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing. Got through a defender, but lost the puck. Final minute of the first as the puck came on goal. Had to be covered up by Soundara. Now under a minute left in the power play. 58 seconds left in the power play. 57.9 to go in the first. 1-0 Nolensville. Franklin on the power play late in this first. Draw to Soundara's right. Won by Nolensville. Henry Cravens trying to clear it out on the far side. Held in at the left point. Pass to the slot. Intercepted and cleared by Nolensville. It's back in the Franklin zone. Quinn Spencer will track it down. Skates away from Charlie Bonner. Spencer through center on the near side, back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing. Trying to go to the front of the net, but the puck got away from him. Cleared out by Nolensville. 30 seconds left on both the game and penalty clocks. Puck goes to center. Nolensville fire it back in on the far side. I think the game clock is a second ahead of the penalty clock. So unless Franklin quickly convert here, puck out at center. Chase Wagers brings it into the Nolensville zone. Offside. Either Ryan Mannion or Will McCormick came in before Wagers did. That cost Franklin a chance. Late rush. Right here at the end of the first. 3.1 seconds left on the game clock. 3 seconds left on the penalty clock. 1-0 Nolensville. Draw will be on the dot in front of the Nolensville bench. Draw one by Franklin, brought into the Nolensville zone. Will McCormick shot blocked. But both the penalty and period come to an end. Spencer Kern scoring the game's first goal just over 3 minutes in. And that has Nolensville ahead of Franklin 1-0 after one in the Predators Cup Winners Bracket Final. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the second. But if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, we're going to go ahead and take you to the start of the second period. Second period just getting underway. Franklin firing a shot from the right point, stopped and held on to by Bingston Soundara. Draw to Soundara's left, won by the Admirals, and a shot from the right point turned away. Here's a rebound try from Aiden Murphy, steered away by Soundara with a stick. They keep adding shots to the guest side of the board. Franklin are home, scorekeeper. Puck brought back into the Franklin zone. Jackson Matthews-Mayer with a shot in the high slot, turned away by Teague Spencer. Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Ryan Mannion at the end boards. Trying to leave it for Wyatt Garisher, swatted away by Thomas Renegar. Here's Aiden Murphy. Just above the left wing corner. Can't keep the puck on his stick. Spencer Kern behind the net. Drops it off for Emmett Zakos. Zakos trying to fire it ahead for Matthews-Mayer out at center. Hit his body and landed on the ice. Puck back in the Franklin zone behind the net. Aiden Murphy with it. Clear it out up the far side back into the Nolensville zone. Ryan Mannion at the inboards. And it poked away by Emmett Zakos. Coming in to grab it is Garisher. Wyatt Garisher. Bottom of the left circle, leaving it for Mannion. Ryan Mannion. Trying to put it out in front of backhander. Oh, went off the right arm of Soundara. That shot was from Will McCormick from right in front. Puck out at center on the far side. Here is Charlie Bonner into the Franklin zone with a shot blocked up into the air by Teague Spencer. There's going to be a penalty against Franklin, it looks like. Puck is touched up at the end boards. It's going to be against Aiden Murphy. A cross-checking call. So Nolensville back to the power play up 1-0 with 11:38 to go in the second. Draws to Spencer's left, Teague Spencer's left. Franklin with too many skaters out there. Baker McCormick having to come to the bench. No, it's Braden Coleman, excuse me. Puck of the inboards. Quinn Spencer with it. Banks it hard off the far glass and out. Would have gone past the Nolensville net, but Banks is center. Oh, he almost gives it away to Will McCormick near the net. Trying to put it out in front, but Makita Popov well defended by Charlie Bonner. And then McCormick strips the puck. But he committed a penalty in the process, stricted, I think, for Bonner. They're going to send him to the box for slashing. So a 99-second 5-on-3 for Nolensville. 11:17 to go in the second. They're up 1-0. Draws to Teague Spencer's left. Won by Nolensville. Spencer Kern at the right point. Passing across Henry Cravens. High slot, a shot over the net. Puck out on the far side. Cravens keeps it alive at the left point. Passes across Spencer Kern at the right point. Kern, wanted to send it to the right-hand side of the net. Heath Udy couldn't get his stick on it. Passes up to the left point, Cravens. Cravens moving along the blue line. High slot, a slap shot. Deflected, I think, by the stick of Quinn Spencer in front. And then he goes to the inboards and fires it down ice. Minute left of the 5-on-3. Charlie Bonner on the right wing. Dumps the puck to the inboards. David Unger gets to it. And he'll clear it. One minute left on the Will McCormick penalty. Here's Spencer Kern back into the Franklin zone on the left wing side. Standing with his back to the half wall. Passes across Charlie Bonner. Right circle, a shot. Stopped by Teague Spencer. And they put the puck in, but the whistle had been blown. Net became dislodged. 27 seconds left of the 5-on-3. 10:05 to go in the second. 1-0 Nolensville. Draws to Teague Spencer's right. Won by Franklin. Puck whipped around the boards to the near side. Spencer Kern keeps it into the right point. Passes across to the left point. Henry Cravens, a shot off the glove of Teague Spencer. Rebound picked up by Franklin. It'll be brought out to center. Ryan Mannion into the Nolensville zone. Puck poked away on the left wing side by Spencer Kern, but Mannion gets it back. Less than 30 seconds left in the Will McCormick penalty. The Aiden Murphy penalty expires. 21 seconds left in the 5-on-4 for Nolensville. Spencer Kern back into the Franklin zone on the left wing side. Puck of the inboards. It's behind the net. Comes out in front, and Franklin will fire it down ice on goal. Having to be turned away by Soundara. Puck on the far side. Soundara trying to pass it ahead to Henry Cravens. Went off the stick of Hank Hayes. Still made it to Cravens. Penalty time against Franklin is up to the back at even strength, so a big kill. Nolensville had a 5-on-3 for 99 seconds. Franklin killed both penalties. Puck cleared out to center. Will McCormick passing it over to Hank Hayes. Left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Hayes. Pass broken up by the skates of Emmett Zakos. Here's Ryan Mannion. Trying to go to the slot. Puck swatted away by Judah Campbell. Grant Phelps crosses the red line. Dumps it into the Franklin zone and takes a hit from Quinn Spencer, who's going to go to the box for it. Interference. So Franklin killed that two-man advantage. Then immediately go back on the kill. So Quinn Spencer to the box for interference. Nolensville right back to the power play. Up 1-0 with 8:41 to go in the second. Draw's going to be to the left of Teague Spencer. Won by Franklin. Aiden Murphy tried to clear, but it bounced off the top of the boards into the netting above the glass. They'll drop it to Teague Spencer's left again. Won by Nolensville. Spencer Kern right point. Pass across the left point. Henry Cravens a shot. I think it missed the net. No, they put it up on the board. They're counting it for no. There's a one-timer from Cravens at the left point again, turned away by turned away by Teague Spencer. Puck on the far side. Comes back to Cravens across to the right point. And Kern, Spencer Kern, going down the right wing, along the boards. Top of the right circle. Tried to pass across. He couldn't get a stick on it near the right-hand side of the net. Sends it back around to the near side boards. Comes up to Kern, right point. Across to Cravens' left point. Pass it down the left wing to Hudie. Hudie pass it back out to the left point and Cravens. Cravens with a shot off a stick and into the netting above the glass. 62 seconds left in the power play. 7:44 to go in the second. Still 1-0 Nolensville. Down in Bellevue, it is 3-2 Independent Centennial over Father Ryan in the second. Draw is going to be to the right of Teague Spencer. Puck on the far side, Cravens left point. Under a minute left in the power play for Nolensville. Cravens going down the left wing a bit. Passing across top of the right circle. Oh, Kern whiffs on the shot attempt right when he got to the faceoff dot. Went to shoot and he whiffed. Keeps the puck, goes back out towards the blue line. Now in the high slot, taking a shot, it's blocked. Gets the puck back. Tries to drop it down the right wing to Malleus Mayer. Back up to the right point and Kern. 30 seconds left in the power play for Nolensville. Cravens, left point. Back across Malleus Mayer. Shanks the one-timer. Sent it past the net well on the left of Teague Spencer. Cravens holds it in top of the left circle across to Malleus Mayer. Went off the boards. Malleus Mayer has to go chase to the end boards. Dropped his stick. Charlie Bonnert passing it up to the right point. And Spencer Kern. Now up to the right point and Cravens. Cravens with a shot. Gloved and held on to by Teague Spencer. 4 seconds left in the power play. 6:46 to go in the second. Still 1-0 Nolensville. Draw to the left of Spencer. Won by Franklin. Puck sent around the boards to the far side and out. Penalty time against the Admirals is up. They're back at even strength. Judah Campbell sending the puck back into the Franklin zone. Cleared right out by the Admirals. Carson Roganchik taking a hit at the Franklin blue line. Braden Coleman out at center on the near side. Lost the puck to Thomas Renegar. Now here's Will McCormick. Chasing the puck down the left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Made contact with Carson Roganchik. Went down. Franklin bench won a penalty. They're not getting it. Puck held in at the blue line by Chase Wagers. Knocked off his stick. Carson Roganchik clears. Picked up by Coleman at center. Now Wagers back inside the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Taking a shot. Went through the crease. Went across the front of the net. Sandara may have got a piece of it. Here's Judah Campbell out at center. Back into the Franklin zone. Backhanding it down the left wing side to the left wing corner. Tried to clear. Held in by Zakos at the left point. And his pass down the left wing boards hit the skates of Mikita Popov. Came out to center. Zakos dumps it back in. Puck on the end boards. Here's Unger. Passing to the near side. Cleared out. Sent back the other way by Zakos. Back into the Franklin zone. Picked up and brought back out by Popov. Puck on the near side at center. Goes back to the inboards of the Franklin zone. Hank Prosser. Trying to put it out in front. Here's Unger. Bringing it back out. Unger. Into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Taking a shot in the right circle. Turned away by Soundara. Prosser. Passing it up the far side. Spencer Kern into the Franklin zone on the left wing. Kern in the left circle with a shot. Maybe Teague Spencer got a piece of it as it went by. Mikita Popov will bring it out to center. Trying to get it ahead to Will McCormick, but Craven steps in front of McCormick. Keeps it away from him. It's back in the Franklin zone, carried right out by Baker McCormick. Baker McCormick back into the Nolensville zone down the right wing side, but I think Will stepped over the line right before Baker brought the puck in to trigger the offside whistle. 4:33 left in the second. Still 1-0 Nolensville. Spencer Kern with a game's only goal, exactly 3 minutes and 25 seconds into the first period. Draw's going to be on the dot in front of the Franklin bench. Franklin with a puck off the draw. Wyatt Garisher trying to dump it into the Nolensville zone. That was broken up by the stick, I think, of Carson Roganchik. Now Ryan Manuel will dump it in from the far side. Puck on the near side. Cravens trying to pass it up to Carson Roganchik, who clears it out from the left point. Went off of Franklin's stick and its way down, so no icing. I think Cole Wright's stick. Puck behind the Franklin net. It's out on the far side. On the left half wall, and we're going to have another penalty, aren't we? It's going to be a penalty against Franklin, a cross-checking call. And another broken stick for Ryan Mannion. Second one of the game. And it's Aiden Murphy going back to the box. So Nolensville returning to the power play up 1-0 with 3:53 to go in the second. Draw is going to be to Teague Spencer's right. Franklin with it, Cole Wright. Banking it off the near side boards. Now it's sent around to the far side. It'll go out to center. Henry Cravens. Leaving it for Spencer Kern. Kern inside his own zone. Steps out to center. Back into the Franklin zone on the right wing side in the right circle. Passing out to the slot. And a shot from Malleus Mayer. Stopped and covered up by Spencer. Stuck out that left leg pad and then covered up the rebound. 84 seconds left of the power play. 3:18 to go in the second. 1-0 Nolensville. Draw is going to be to the left of Spencer. Won by Franklin. Brought out to center. Ryan Mannion. Into the Nolensville zone down the right wing side. Gets stopped by Soundara. He put the glove over it for like a millisecond and then let Kern through center on the far side. Back into the Franklin zone on the left wing. In the right circle. Passes out to the right point, Cravens. Minute left in the power play for Nolensville. Kern passing below the goal line to Charlie Bonnert. There's the puck taken away. Quinn Spencer trying to find space so he can clear it. Malleus Mayer takes it off him. Quinn Spencer pushes him into the boards. Now he's carrying it up the near side. Passes ahead to Cole Wright, who clears it out. Here's Ryan Mannion. Back into the Nolensville zone, but he lost the puck as soon as he crossed the blue line. Lost it as soon as he crossed the blue line. It's cleared out. Kern. Back into the Franklin zone on the left wing side. 30 seconds left of the power play. Kern with a shot. Turned away by Spencer. Teague Spencer. And cleared out by the Admirals. Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Cravens around the back of his own net. Comes out to center. Back into the Franklin zone on the left wing side. Takes a slap shot. Score! A slap shot that appeared to go off of Teague Spencer in some way into the back of the net. And Nolensville convert the power play to go up 2-0 with 2:02 to go in the second. Wow. That is a potential backbreaker too, because Franklin have not gotten a lot of chances in this one. Draw one by Nolensville. Puck out on the far side at center. Soundara, by the way, Soundara left the puck for Cravens behind the net, so Soundara should get an assist. His second point of the playoffs. His first assist. Stretch pass up the far side from the Franklin zone. Misses Wyatt Garisher and goes for an icing. That was from David Unger on the near side of his own zone. Draw is going to be to Teague Spencer's left. One by Franklin, cleared out to center. Back into the Nolensville zone. Emmett Zakos will get to it. Zakos backhands it off the far glass. Franklin trying to hold it in, cleared out by Hank Prosser. Here's Hank Hayes. Carrying it to center. Back into the Nolensville zone on the right wing side. Has to go around the back of the net. Hayes at the blue line, and it poked away and out by Judah Campbell. Campbell shoots it past the net to the right of Spencer from the Franklin blue line. Minute left in the second. Here's Hank Hayes out at center. Dumping it back into the Nolensville zone. Icing was just behind the red line when he did it. He was trying to pass it to the middle of the ice for a breakout pass for Will McCormick, and it didn't work. 52.2 seconds left in the second. 2-0 Nolensville. Draw will be to the right of Teague Spencer. Puck at the inboards. Now it's out in front. Heath Hudi trying to turn around and shoot. He couldn't. Ryan Sherman at center, passing it to Aiden Murphy. Murphy left wing side of the Nolensville zone. Trying to get to the front of the net. A shot stopped by Soundara right up against his right-hand post. Puck behind the net. 30 seconds left in the period. Emmett Zakos trying to clear it. Knocked down at the blue line by Murphy. Sent back down the left wing. Cleared out by Nolensville. No icing. Puck in the inboards of the Franklin zone. Hudi and Baker McCormick battling. Puck sent back around to the far side. Grant Phelps turns it over. Cleared out by Franklin, but right under the stick of Zakos, who dumps it back into the Franklin zone. Ryan Sherman clears it out again, and time runs out in the second. Henry Cravens with a late power play goal, and Nolensville now lead Franklin 2-0 after 2 in the Predators Cup Winners Bracket Final. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the third, but if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, we're going to go ahead and take you to the start of the third period. Ready to start the third period of this one. Teague Spencer still in goal for Franklin. Bingston Soundara still in goal for Nolensville for this third period. Franklin will carry the puck by left to right. Nolensville from right to left. Admirals win the draw to start the third. Send the puck to the Nolensville blue line. Intercepted and brought into the Franklin zone by Henry Cravens, who shot in the right circle, misses the net to Teague Spencer's left. And Ryan Mannion trying to pass the puck to Cole Wright at center, but Wright drifted too far to his right, and it went past him for an icing. If Franklin can tie this game up and the third period finishes that way, we'll go to a 5-minute 3-on-3 sudden death, and if that doesn't resolve it, a shootout will. But Franklin have got to start putting the puck in the net. Draw to the right of Spencer. One by Franklin, carried out to center by Cole Wright, and it poked away. Now it's back in the Franklin zone. Spencer Kern, left circle shot. Stopped by Teague Spencer. He's got it covered. And there they go, counting Franklin shots on the guest side of the scoreboard again. So the shot totals are going to be inaccurate when this game is over. Draw to the right of Spencer. Puck on the near side boards. Malleus Mayer with it. Passes to the far side, but it's intercepted and carried out by Wyatt Garisher. Garisher had it poked off his stick inside the Nolensville zone. Clearing attempt held in at the left point, and a shot from Cole Wright turned away. Oh, wait. I complained about nothing just then. They put that Nolensville shot on the correct side of the board, and they put that recent Franklin shot on the correct side of the board too. But the first couple of Franklin shots in the second were given to Nolensville, as we're going to have a penalty behind the Nolensville net against Franklin, I think. Oh, they're going to send Cravens to the box as well. So holding against Garisher and Cravens. Or is it just against Cravens? Okay, so it's holding coincidentals against both Garisher and Cravens. So it'll stay 5-on-5, 12:50 left in regulation, 2-0 Nolensville. Draw to the left of Soundara. Won by Nolensville. Hank Hayes with it for Franklin. Pulled down behind the net, and there's going to be a penalty. It's pulled down at the end boards, I think by Hank Prosser. No, it's Thomas Renegar, I think. Yes. Thomas Renegar called for hooking. So Franklin back to the power play, down 2-0 with 12:38 left in regulation. Draw is to the left of Soundara. Won by Franklin. Puck sent to the inboards, fired around to the far side. Here's Ryan Mannion, leaving into the left point for Quinn Spencer. Passing it down the boards to Mannion. Mannion. Passing it back up to the left point. Oh, it went off the stick of Spencer and out. So he backs up towards his own blue line, passes up the far side to Mannion, who sends it back into the Nolensville zone. Spencer Kern with it for the Knights, though. Kern banks it off the near side boards, and it stays in the zone. Hank Hayes to the left circle, a shot. Off Soundara into the netting above the glass. 81 seconds left of the power play. 11:59 to go in regulation. Still 2-0 Nolensville. Draws to the right of Soundara. Puck of the inboards, put out in front, deflected off of Nolensville stick. Stays in the zone. Will McCormick shot in the left circle. I think it was blocked. Now here's Aiden Murphy, top of the right circle with a shot. Turned away by Soundara. And the puck out at center. Minute left in the power play for Franklin. Quinn Spencer tracks it down. Carries it back into the Nolensville zone. Taking a shot from the right circle. Missed the net to the left of Soundara, who then went tumbling around in his crease, thinking that thing was going to come back out in front. Cleared down ice by Nolensville. Makita Popov gets to it. Sends it around to the far boards and Murphy. Murphy having to skate away from Hank Prosser. Passes it back up the far boards to Quinn Spencer. Spencer steps out to center. Less than 30 seconds left of the power play for Franklin. Spencer back in the Nolensville zone. A shot stopped and held on to by Soundara. Right into his stomach. 23 seconds left in the power play. 11:01 to go in regulation. Still 2-0 Nolensville. Draws to Soundara's left. Drawn by Nolensville. Puck banked off the boards. Comes to the right point, and Chase Wagers gets off a shot that Soundara gloves and hangs on to. Draw be to his left again. Won by Nolensville. They try and carry it out. Held into the blue line by Wagers. Hank Hayes dropping it to the inboards from the left wing side. Cole Wright passing it back to Hayes in the left wing corner. Hayes trying to put it out in front. Wright trying to pass across and went off an Nolensville stick. Out towards the blue line. Penalty time against Nolensville is up. They're back at even strength. Here's Wright trying to put it out in front from the right circle. Comes on goal, covered up by Soundara. Wagers couldn't crash the net and try and put that thing in. And now both Garisher and Cravens will be released from the box. No, it was Kern. after the coincidentals, holding coincidentals. Draw will be to the left of Soundara. 10:26 left in regulation, 2-0 Nolensville. They have the puck off the draw. Judah Campbell from center. Sorry, it's Hank Prosser, I think, dumping it into the Franklin zone. Yes, it was Prosser. Puck on the near side. Held into the left point by Henry Cravens. Banked off the near glass and into the netting above the glass in the left wing corner. Draw is going to be to Teague Spencer's right. One by Nolensville. Henry Cravens left point with a shot. Went off a stick in front, off the stick of Murphy. Clears it out up the far side. Back into the Nolensville zone. Here's Henry Cravens. Passing it up the far side, back into the Franklin end, right to Murphy. Fires it up the near side for an icing. Diagonal cross ice forward pass. Will McCormick had to exit the Nolensville zone to keep from being called offside. 9:49 left in regulation, 2-0 Nolensville. Let's check into the Indy Father Ryan game, huh? How's that going down in Bellevue? It is still 3-2. Indy over Father Ryan. They're now in the third. Draw was to the left of Teague Spencer, won by Franklin, brought into the Nolensville zone. Puck at the inboards. Hank Hayes trying to come out in front. Backhander stop. Another backhander tried in the slot. Turned away by Soundara. Puck in the left wing corner. Hayes behind the net. Backhands it out in front. Trying to get it to Will McCormick. That's broken up. Keeping the puck alive is Murphy. Murphy just above the left wing corner. Gives it away to Henry Cravens. Cravens trying to pass to Judah Campbell. It was initially broken up by David Unger, but Cravens eventually able to get it to Judah Campbell, who clears it out. Brought back in by Murphy in his shot. Off of Soundara into the netting above the glass. 9:06 left in regulation. 2-0 Nolensville. This will be Nolensville's third straight trip to the Preds Cup final. They've participated in the last two in that co-op with Ensworth and Lipscomb. Draw is going to be to the right of Soundara. One by Nolensville. They end up icing it from their own end. It's Thomas Renegar sending it up the near side. Draw is going to be to the left of Soundara. Owens will win the draw, bring it out to center. Send into the Franklin zone. Jackson Magus-Bear on the left wing side. Falls over. Colwright picks up the puck, passes it to Ryan Mannion. Mannion had it poked off his stick right as he crossed the Nolensville blue line. Sent back into the Franklin zone. Chase Wagers. Passing to the far side. David Unger had to go off his stick and out to center. And then he has to poke it away from Carson Roganchik, trying to bring it back into the Franklin zone. Puck is back in the Franklin end. Wright trying to clear it. Off the stick of Spencer Kern, here's David Unger. At his own inboards, behind his own net. Carries it back to center, and it poked off his stick. Back into the Franklin zone, Spencer Kern with it. Sending it down the wall. Now Emmett Zako, top of the left circle, a shot off the right leg pad of Teague Spencer. Ryan Mannion. I don't know why I keep saying Ryan. Michael's suspended for tonight. He's not playing. Puck dumped back into the Franklin zone. Here's Quinn Spencer behind his own net. Spencer carries it to center. Crosses the red line. Back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. But could not take the puck to the front of the net. Now he passes out to the blue line, but nobody's there. Baker McCormick picks it up back inside the Franklin zone. Will McCormick dumps it back into the Nolensville end. It's behind the net. And they try and clear it out. It's held in on the left wing by Wyatt Garisher. Has it taken away. Here's Grant Phelps. Passing it to Henry Cravens. Back in the Franklin zone. Shot in the top of the right circle off the glove of Teague Spencer. Here's Hank Hayes on the far side. Carries it to center. Back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Goes to the slot. Goes to the right wing. Gets off a backhander. I think it was blocked. Tried to put it out in front for Will McCormick. Cleared away from the front of the net. Held in. A shot from Baker McCormick. Stopped. Rebound drifted through the crease. And then a shot from the bottom of the right circle. And Garisher turned away by Soundara. Now the puck cleared all the way back down into the Franklin zone. Baker McCormick picks it up. Trying to pass it up the far side. Didn't get enough wood on it. Judah Campbell trying to get it to Luke Doble. It's turned over. And yet again we have a stick with a blade broken off. It's Will McCormick. This time Ryan Manion's had 2 in this game. 2 broken sticks where the blade was separated from the shaft. Puck cleared out at the far side to Quinn Spencer. Carries it back into the Nolensville zone. He's on the left wing. Gets off a shot. Stopped and held on to by Soundara. .5:59 left in regulation. 2-0 Nolensville. Draw is going to be to Soundara's right. There's a one-timer from Aiden Murphy at the left point. Gloved and held on to by Soundara. Franklin have not really had a good chance from in tight in this one. Draw to the right of Soundara again. Franklin with it. Murphy left point. Taking a shot. Stop! Rebound! Makita Popoff! He whiffed on the first try while Soundara was trying to move over to the left-hand side. He got over in time to stop the rebound try. Nolensville iced it, but that was Franklin's best chance by far. And if Popoff had been able to get off the shot on that first try, Franklin would be on the board, and now they're going to use their timeout with 5:35 left in regulation. Wow. Simply amazing what has gone on. Still 3-2 Indy over Father Ryan in the Hein Cup winners bracket final down in Bellevue. No update since the very end of the second when Hank Walker was given an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So who scored here? Let's see, Ridgeway, Lambert, and Hudson Laux with goals for Father Ryan. Hank Walker, Nick Kloss with 2 goals for Indy, and the other from Hank Walker. So that's the scoring there. Timeout done. Draw is going to be to the left of Soundara. Franklin running out of time, or else they have to play for their season on Wednesday against whoever wins between Page and NBA. Draw to the left of Soundara, won by Franklin. Shot from Quinn Spencer. Slowed up by a Nolensville stick and picked off. Henry Cravens back into the Franklin zone, but offside. Carson Roganchik stepped over the blue line right before Cravens brought the puck in. So draw be on the dot in front of the Franklin bench. And only 10 seconds run off the clock. I thought they didn't start the clock for a second. It only went down from 5:35 to 5:25. Draw one by Nolensville. Kern, left wing side. Trying to poke it in front of one-handed in front of the net. Prevented from doing so by Quinn Spencer. Puck carried out by Chase Wagers. Ryan Mannion backhands it out of play, trying to backhand it back into the Nolensville end. Draw's going to be on the dot in front of the Nolensville bench. I think it may have gone into the Nolensville bench. That little drop pass attempt. Puck ends up back in the Franklin zone. Here's Chase Wagers. Passing it up the far side. Cole Wright. Had it poked off his stick right as he got to the Nolensville blue line by Heath Hudie. Ryan Mannion gently pushing down Charlie Bonnert. Hank Prosser. And the puck knocked off his stick by Cole Wright. Wright from his own zone. Carries it out to center. Avoids a poke check from Bonnert. Brings it back into the Nolensville zone, only for it to be cleared right out by, I think, Cravens. Here's Wagers. Dumping it back into the Nolensville zone. Pass to the far side. Mannion gets to it. Mannion in the left wing corner. Passing it up to the left point. Quinn Spencer, a one-timer, deflects off his stick up into the air. Puck lands on the near side. Garrison tried to back in it in front for Mannion. It was intercepted. Now Prosser, right wing side of the Franklin zone, backhands it to the inboards. Behind the net, Garrisher grabs it. Almost had it taken away by Charlie Bonnert. He did have it taken away by Charlie Bonnert. Squeezes him up against the boards. Actually, it's Quinn Spencer pinning Bonnert up against the boards. Puck sent to the far side. Here's Quinn Spencer, flipping it through the air and out to center. Caught and dropped by Thomas Renegard. Dumped back into the Franklin end. Puck behind the net, picked up by Hank Hayes. Hayes out to center. Lost the puck. Garrisher keeps it in Franklin's possession, but he has to turn away from the blue line because Hayes had entered the zone and fell over trying to get out. So the puck dropped all the way back into the Franklin end. Here's Baker McCormick. Passing it up the far side to Will McCormick. Turned over, and Spencer Kerner shot from in tight, stopped by Teague Spencer. That went off Will McCormick's stick, came down the right wing to the front of the net, and Spencer Kerner able to get off a shot that Teague Spencer stopped. Here's Hank Hayes. Turn the puck over. Carson Rogenchik, a shot blocked from the right circle. Backhanded shot attempt blocked. Ryan Mannion passing it ahead to Will McCormick. McCormick going down the nose, will slide in front of the shot. Score! Franklin on the board at last. McCormick got to the front of the net. Got Soundara down and flipped it in. It's 2-1 Nolensville with 2:44 to go in regulation. Finally got another chance in tight. But that came from Mannion from his own blue line. Passing the puck ahead to McCormick, standing in the middle of the ice at the Nolensville blue line. And it was a perfect tape-to-tape pass, and he was able to take it and score. Now with just under 3 minutes left in regulation. How long until Teague Spencer is pulled unless Franklin can score another here quickly? Puck back in the Nolensville zone. Cleared out, but right to Wyatt Garrisher, who brings it back into the Nolensville end to the right wing side. Garrisher, a shot. I think it was turned away by Soundara. Here's Garrisher on the left wing corner. At the inboards, backhanded to the right point, Baker McCormick by David Unger. McCormick passing across to the left wing side. Henry Cravens grabs it. Flips it through the air to Charlie Bonnert. Falls over inside the Franklin zone. Teague Spencer sends it away from the front of the net to the near side boards. Unger picks it up. Trying to pass it across to Will McCormick. Broken up by Cravens, but it comes to Wyatt Garrisher, who manages to send it back into the Nolensville zone anyway. Puck coming back into the Franklin end, cleared out by Murphy. Murphy picks it up at center. Brings it back into the Nolensville zone on the left wing side. Trying to put it in front for Unger, who was tied up. Puck out at center. Spencer Kern, right wing side of the Franklin zone. Could not get past the defender in the slot, but Carson Rogenchik got off a shot that was stopped by Teague Spencer, and then the rebound sent past the net to his left by Jackson Malleus-Mayer. Puck cleared out of the zone by Wright from the left point. Owens will dump it back into the Franklin zone, no icing. Minute left in regulation, Hank Hayes passing it to Cole Wright. Wright across to Garrisher. Garrisher passing it to the Nolensville blue line, sent the other way by Emmett Zakos. Carson Rogenchik in the Franklin zone, and the puck Cleared away from him, or taken away from him. Colwright at center. They're calling Teague Spencer to the bench. Net empty for Franklin. Garrisher in his own right, in the right circle of the Nolensville zone, lost the puck. Chase Wakers keep it in. Shot in the high slot, blocked. Another shot in the left circle, blocked. Clearing attempt held in at the left point. Hank Hayes a shot. Takes a deflection, goes past the net to the right of Soundara. Puck put out in front. Soundara has it covered. And now we got guys swinging at each other. 22.7 seconds left in regulation. 2-1 Nolensville. Franklin with an net empty. Draw to the right of Soundara. Franklin already used their timeout earlier in this third. Can Franklin get an equalizer with the extra attacker? They win the draw, shot and goal, and to be turned away by Soundara. Puck on the near side. Passed across to the left wing. And Nolensville will clear it down ice for an icing with 8.4 seconds left. Draw me to the right of Soundara again. Puck cleared out of the zone. Fired towards the empty net. It misses. And they blow the whistle for icing with only a tenth of a second left. Actually, no, they restore time. Exactly a second left. No, 1.4. So time for Franklin to win the draw and get it in the net. Draw to the right of Soundara. Tie up off the draw. That's it. Nolensville, for the first time as a Scholastic team, are into the Predators Cup final. And they're in it for a third straight season as a program after those two previous finals with Innsworth and Lipscomb, as they beat Franklin 2-1 in the Predators Cup Winners Bracket Final. And Franklin will now play the Page NBA winner on Wednesday night in the Losers Bracket Final. And Indy Centennial had beaten Father Ryan 3-2 down in Bellevue, so Indy take the first place in the Hein Cup final next Monday night. And Father Ryan will be in the Losers Bracket Final on Thursday in Antioch. They'll play either Brentwood, Mount Juliet, or JP2. So both Winners Bracket Finals are done. And each tournament has its first finalist. Indy Centennial for the Hein Cup, and Nolensville in the Preds Cup as they beat Franklin 2-1. The goal scorers in this one, Will McCormick with Franklin's only goal, and the two Nolensville goals were scored by Spencer Kern and Henry Cravens with what turned out to be the game winner. As Nolensville win this one 2-1. Player of the game, geez. I'll probably go with Bingston Soundara. I'll split it between Bingston Soundara and Henry Cravens. Cravens had the game-winning goal, and Soundara, I don't know how many shots he stopped because those first few Franklin shots in the second were put on the Nolensville side of the board. But Franklin started getting better as that third period went on, and they got a goal in the back of the net. Plus, he had an assist. He had the assist on the game-winning goal for Henry Cravens. So Bingston Soundara and Henry Cravens are our co-players of the game, as Nolensville win this one 2-1 over Franklin and take the first spot in the Preds Cup final next week. All right, got some shout-outs. Shout-out to Mark Hayes, the father of Hank Hayes. Shout-out to Victor Bonnert, father of Charlie Bonnert. Tom and Marcia Cravens, parents of Henry and Annie Cravens. Tori and Ludo Raganchik, parents of Carson Raganchik. And Don and Stacy Graham, the parents of Trace Graham. Good Lord. Sorry, wrong player. That's the next game. Bing and Lisa Soundara, the parents of Bigston Soundara. They purchased our full season membership package of perks on Buy Me a Coffee, on our Buy Me a Coffee page. They get their name listed in the GNASH newsletter, which is published almost daily. They're getting this on-air shout-out for any and all Franklin and Nolensville games I broadcast, and they're getting this and any and all Franklin and Nolensville games I broadcast as downloadable MP3s. We're offering playoff-only memberships, half off. If you just want your name listed in the newsletter, it's $3.75. If you want the package of perks, which is your name listed in the newsletter, any and all on-air shout-outs for any and all games I cover, the teams that you support, or of the team that you support, and downloadable MP3s of the games I broadcast of the team that you support. Just go to our Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com, BUYMEACOFFE.com/Mid10SportsNet, MIDTN SPORTSNET, and in that top right-hand corner where it says Support Middle Tennessee Sports Network, in that little box, type in either $3.75 or $7.50. And if you're buying the package of perks, tell me what team you support so I know where to put you on my little Google Doc list here. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com, BUYMEACOFFE.com/Mid10SportsNet, MIDTN SPORTSNET. And it says Support Middle Tennessee in the top right-hand corner of the page where it says 5 cents or Tennessee Sports Network. Type in either $3.75 or $7.50. Those playoff-only packages end in so get on board, although the more it really doesn't make sense to more teams that get knocked out, the more it really doesn't make sense to pay for something like that, Again, that's buymeacoffee.com, BUYMEACOFFE.com/Mid10SportsNet, MIDTN SPORTSNET. Okay. The first spot in the Preds Cup final has been grabbed by Nolensville as they beat Franklin 2-1 in the winner's bracket final. Coming up next, it's the loser's bracket semifinal between 3-seeded Page Summit and 2-seeded Montgomery Bell. Pregame of that coming up at 8:10 for an 8:15 puck drop. Again, the final score here on the Preds Cup winner's bracket final, Nolensville 2, Franklin 1. Page and NBA coming up in just about 20 minutes.